In the American heartland, a devastating economic storm is brewing, measured in empty silos and a staggering $12 billion loss. The epicenter, the humble soybean, once a cornerstone of U.S. exports and the backbone of trade with China. Now, that relationship is shattered, leaving American farmers to face the wreckage of a vanished market. This crisis didn't start with a drought, but with a political earthquake, a renewed trade war that severed ties between the world's two largest economies. For years, farmers invested in land and technology, counting on China's appetite for soybeans. Suddenly, that certainty is gone. Ships that once carried U.S. soybeans to China now sit idle, and communities built on agricultural prosperity are left vulnerable. The loss of the Chinese market is more than financial. It's a strategic blow, exposing the fragility of relying on a single buyer. One season, U.S. soybeans were prized. The next, they became a political liability, replaced by eager suppliers from the southern hemisphere. Farmers who planned for growth now struggle to survive, caught between lost customers and rising costs. The crisis has forced a painful reckoning in an industry that is the nation's backbone. As of November 17, 2025, the $12 billion hole is a stark reminder of what's at stake. This crisis was forged in the halls of power, not the fields. Ignited by a new chapter in the U.S.-China trade war, China's response was swift, a wall of tariffs, with American soybeans as the prime target. In April 2025, China raised its tariff on U.S. soybeans to 34%, making them instantly uncompetitive. Chinese buyers, squeezed by thin margins, turned away overnight. The tariff was more than a tax, it was a message. China would no longer depend on U.S. agriculture. This move was part of China's broader strategy to diversify food sources and reduce reliance on any single nation. The trade war simply accelerated this shift as China proactively reshaped its supply chains. Political rhetoric in Washington only deepened the divide, leaving American farmers caught in the crossfire. The tariffs slammed the door on the Chinese market with no resolution in sight. What was once a stable partnership is now a cautionary tale of how quickly global trade can unravel. American farmers are left bearing the brunt of a conflict they never started. As the U.S. lost access to China, Brazil seized the moment. With record harvests and years of investment in technology and infrastructure, Brazil was ready to step in, not as a substitute, but as the new leader. Chinese buyers, needing soybeans for their livestock, turned south, making Brazil the king of global soy trade almost overnight. In 2025, Brazil is set to export a record 110 million tons of soybeans, fueled by an unprecedented harvest. China's share of Brazil's exports has surged to nearly 80%, with 93% of September's shipments bound for Chinese ports. This isn't just business, it's a new trade axis, reshaping global agriculture. While American crops pile up, Brazilian farmers expand, buoyed by high demand and premium prices. Argentina, too, has increased its exports, aided by favorable policies. Together, Brazil and Argentina have displaced the U.S., signaling a dramatic shift in global trade. The numbers tell a story of American decline and Brazilian conquest. In 2012, the U.S. supplied nearly half of China's soybean imports. By 2025, that share has plummeted to just 20%. U.S. soybean exports, once worth $24 billion, are now in free fall. Through October 2025, American farmers have lost an estimated $5.7 billion, not counting the broader economic fallout. Total U.S. agricultural exports to China have dropped by $6.8 billion, a 73% decline. Meanwhile, Brazil's exports are booming, set to hit 110 million tons by year's end, almost all destined for China. In September alone, 93% of Brazil's soybeans went to Chinese ports. Chinese buyers are paying high premiums for Brazilian soybeans, while U.S. beans, though cheaper, are priced out by tariffs. The market has been fundamentally rewired by politics, leaving American farmers with crops they can't sell. Brazil's rise is no accident. It's the result of strategic investment and timing. The U.S. is left watching as its former dominance slips away. The numbers don't lie. This is a seismic shift in global agriculture. For American farmers, this is more than a trade dispute, it's a fight for survival. The loss of China coincides with soaring costs. Fertilizer prices up nearly 40%, labor up 47% since 2020. Profit margins are vanishing, and the dream of passing down the family farm is fading. Unsold soybeans sit in storage, adding to the financial burden. Farmers face impossible choices: plant soybeans and hope for a resolution, or switch crops and risk new challenges. The crisis is eroding confidence and threatening the future of rural America. It's a slow-motion tragedy, unfolding field by field. The crisis has spread far beyond soybeans, infecting the entire agricultural sector. China's targeted measures have hit beef, pork, nuts, and fruit, industries that relied on Chinese demand. U.S. beef exports to China have plummeted over 90% after export licenses expired. California's almond growers face a 45% tariff, crippling a once-thriving export business. The fallout ripples through supply chains, from processors to shippers. Across the board, American producers are locked out of a market that once seemed insatiable. The lesson is clear: over-reliance on a single market is a dangerous gamble. In a globalized world, no industry is immune to the shockwaves of trade conflict. As winter 2025 approaches, American agriculture stands at a crossroads. The $12 billion crisis is a wake-up call, challenging America's role as a food superpower. With China pausing purchases and relying on reserves, a quick recovery is unlikely. The fields lying fallow symbolize an uncertain future. The crisis exposes the flaw of relying on a single, volatile market. America must urgently diversify its export partners and rebuild trust abroad. This will take years, and won't fully replace the lost Chinese market. A stable, coherent trade strategy is essential for long-term planning. The loss of soybean dominance is a warning. America's global position is no longer guaranteed. How the nation responds now will shape its farmers' fate and its place in the world for decades to come.